We might as well spread it out a little bit.
How's it going? Everything's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, yours.
Do what you want. Darren said he wanted you to do it.
Hey, Jerry.
You do it.
That's because Mr. Shakes. You gonna make mine?
Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the council meeting for Monday, July 14th to order. We're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to have a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Mr. Sabozley, if you take a roll call,
Yes.
please.
Councilman Dern.
Here.
Councilman Majernik.
Here.
Councilman Purcell.
Here.
Councilwoman Rossler.
Here.
Councilman Schlag.
Here.
Councilman Seitz is absent. Councilman Taylor.
Here.
And Mayor Schlegel.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of June.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Schlag. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Mr. Majernik. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the expenses for the month of June. I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Taylor. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries. Motion to approve the minutes of the June council meeting. I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Majernik. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Ms. Rossler. All those in favor? Motion carries. And that moves us to recognition of achievements in the community. I think, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And I have several tonight. For the last couple of months, I haven't had any, but got a lot tonight. So, would Mr. Raschuti, Kirchner, and Kelly, if you're here, would you please come up?
The other two are both on vacation.
Okay, understood. Jerry, would you please, before I read this proclamation, would you please give the backstory as to what happened here?
Okay, Mayor, I appreciate it. After several years short of 30 in law enforcement and realizing the job that our police department does here in Plum Boro, which is outstanding, as well as our EMS people, I was looking at a device called LifeVac, and in March, contacted LifeVac, received the information about the device. It's an airway clearance device. And I contacted Chief Conley to see if we had these devices in our patrol units. Then I asked if I could get them, would it be agreeable to placing them in the units, and he wholeheartedly agreed at that time. In April, I contacted a longtime friend and businessman, Michael Raschuti Construction, explained the project and the need for donations to purchase the LifeVac devices for the Plum PD. Mike was all in, stated that he would make some contacts and get back to me. In May, Mike contacted me and told me we had 3 donors that will cover the cost, and checks were received from Michael Raschuti Construction, Bob Kelly, John C.R. Kelly Realty, and Norm Kirshner, Accurate Garage Door Incorporated. In June 2025, 40 LifeVac units were received and distributed. So we were able to put one in each patrol unit. I think Chief Conley's here.
That's correct. We were able to put a device in each of the patrol units. Our break room downstairs, we've also been able to give some to the borough manager to train his employees on for different areas up here as well.
Okay, thank you, Chief. This is in no way to say that our EMS crew does not, they have these items in their possession. The idea here is that police are often more readily available quicker in a call such as this, where a person may be choking or a child. I'd like to take the time to thank the donors, Mayor Schlegel, Chief Conley, Mike Whitico, Susan Parrish, and the great folks at LifeVac who were very awesome to work with. Mayor?
Thank you. And Michael, if you would give these proclamations to the other two, would appreciate it. This is a proclamation of gratitude. Whereas generosity is the cornerstone of strong communities and the spark that ignites progress and unity. And whereas Michael Raschudi's, Norm Kirchner, and Bob Kelly commitment to the health and safety of individuals, especially the vulnerable populations, is a vital concern for our community. And through a generous donation of 40 LifeVac choking rescue devices. And whereas LifeVac is a life-saving device designed to prevent choking emergencies, offering peace of mind and protection in critical moments. And whereas this contribution will have a profound and lasting impact supporting our emergency responders that saves lives. And whereas Mike Raschuti has selfishly donated LifeVac devices to Plum Boro, Plum Police Department, and demonstrating a profound commitment to public welfare. And whereas this act of generosity not only equips our first responders with essential tools, but also inspires a culture of caring, preparedness, and proactive safety. Now therefore be it resolved that I, as mayor, along with council, do gratefully recognize and commend Mike Raschuti for his compassionate donation of LifeVacs that stands as a shining example of the power of giving and the spirit of community. And that goes for Mr. Kirchner and Mr. Kelly as well. Michael, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. A little bit of recognition for all you guys for being on the board here and doing a good job. I appreciate it. So does the people of Plum Boro. You guys are here not getting paid and giving up your time for your family and everything you guys do every day. And I can tell you I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. You done?
No. Okay, I would like any members of the Plum Boro Emergency Management Team, that would be Jim Sims, Chief Conley, and Greg Frusco. If you're here, would you please come up? Now, one of the things with these next ones, I've been taking a lot of harassment from my friends down in Oakmont about Oakmont Country Club and the US Open. Well, first of all, vast majority of that is in Plum Boro. Secondly, they could not pull this off, that successful US Open, or any of them in the past, without the borough of Plum and our resources. So again, these gentlemen spent a lot of time, months, meetings, endlessly going on regarding the security, how do you handle various situations down there. So this proclamation is honoring this team. Whereas Jim Sims, Greg Fusco, and Chief Lanley Conley, representing the Plum Boro Emergency Management Team, rose to this challenge with distinction, leading operations with unwavering focus, professionalism, and a deep commitment to protecting both the public and event personnel. And whereas their strategic coordination, interagency collaboration, and tireless behind-the-scenes efforts ensured the seamless management of safety protocols, emergency response planning, and real-time incident readiness throughout the entire event. And whereas their leadership reflects the highest standards of civic duty and reinforces the spirit of community resilience and preparedness that defines Plum Boro. Now therefore be it resolved that we extend our profound gratitude and enthusiastic recognition to Jim Sims, Greg Fusco, and Chief Lanny Conley for their outstanding service during the 125th U.S. Open, in that their exemplary work serves as an enduring model for emergency management excellence at large-scale public events. Signed this 14th day of July, 2025. Jim?
Mayor, thank you.
Greg? And Chief, thank you guys for outstanding work done. I know it took a lot of time. And by the way, Greg Fusco took a week of his vacation to be down there for the Open to ensure that everything went smoothly and seamlessly. There were few events, very few, no security events, right, Chief?
No.
No security events whatsoever. It was basically seamless. There was one incident down there. This was an emergency incident, and I'm going to recognize that individual next month because I don't have all the details. Again, the Open could not have happened without the people of Plum Boro, particularly the staff here. This is a proclamation honoring the Plum Boro Community Development Department at the 125th U.S. Open. DJ? Sam? Whereas the 125th U.S. Open brought global attention and an estimated 205,000 visitors to our region, celebrating excellence in sport and showcasing the strength and hospitality of Plum Boro. And whereas the seamless execution of such a major event required hundreds of man-hours, not only public safety and logistics, but also strategic planning, infrastructure readiness, and collaboration by our dedicated team inspecting the structures and grounds for compliance with zoning, safety, and ADA compatibility, while upholding the integrity and beauty of the historic Oakmont Country Club. And whereas their forward-thinking vision, dedication to high standards, and collaborative spirit were instrumental in creating a welcoming and well-prepared environment for athletes, fans, and international media alike. Whereas their work stands as a model of proactive civic engagement and thoughtful stewardship, and their behind-the-scenes leadership and professionalism were essential contributions to one of the most memorable events in sporting history. Now therefore be it resolved that I, as mayor, along with Plum Council, extend heartfelt recognition to the Plum Boro Community Development Department for their professionalism, efficiency, and pride in service before and during the 125th U.S. Open. Sam, your team did a great job out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, Chief, you're up again. This is a proclamation honoring the Plum Boro Police Department for their at the 125th U.S. Open. Whereas the 125th U.S. Open stands as a landmark event in the world of golf, drawing national attention and an estimated 205,000 visitors to our region in celebration of athletic excellence and tradition. And whereas the successful execution of such a prestigious event requires not only outstanding organization, hundreds of hours of planning, but also exceptional public service to ensure the protection and well-being of all participants and spectators. And whereas the Plum Boro Police Department, with professionalism, vigilance, and unwavering commitment, rose to the occasion, upholding the highest standards of service while fostering a safe, orderly, and welcoming environment throughout the duration of the tournament. And whereas their presence and preparedness reflected great credit, not only on their department, but also on the greater Plum Boro community, demonstrating what it means to serve with integrity, pride, and compassion. And whereas we wish to acknowledge that their efforts are recognized as a shining example of law enforcement excellence, civic dedication, and community partnership. And now therefore be it resolved that we proudly recognize and commend the men and women of the Plum Boro Police Department for their outstanding contributions to the success and safety of the 125th U.S. Open. Chief? Thank you. You and your department did an outstanding job, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It was a team effort, total team effort.
Absolutely.
Police Department, Oakmont Police Department, county police, state police, and federal agencies all pitched in to make this uneventful event. Thank you.
How about one of you guys unwrapping that so they can get the camera and get a picture of exactly what we're passing out? The camera, one of the cameras will focus on it. And next one is a proclamation honoring Plum EMS. This proclamation is honoring Plum EMS at the 125th U.S. Open. Whereas the 125th U.S. Open has brought global attention and an estimated 205,000 visitors to our region in celebration of world-class athleticism, sportsmanship, and tradition. And whereas the success and safety of such a significant event relies not only on the athletes and organizers, but critically on the emergency medical professionals prepared to respond at a moment's notice. And whereas the dedicated team at Plum EMS provided vigilant, compassionate, and expert medical support throughout the event, ensuring the health and safety of players, fans, and staff alike. And whereas their tireless work behind the scenes, from preemptive care and rapid response to calm assurance in urgent moments, was instrumental in upholding the highest standards of emergency medical services. And whereas their service reflects the spirit of community, professionalism, and pride that defines Plum Boro. Whereas I, as mayor, along with the entire council, extend our sincerest gratitude and recognition to Plum EMS for their outstanding service and dedication during the 125th U.S. Open. Be it resolved that their contributions stand as a testament to the critical role of EMS personnel in safeguarding large-scale public events and inspiring public confidence. Gentlemen, thank you.
If I can add before we,
Go right ahead.
I know for a fact that the USGA threw you guys a bunch of curveballs, and I know that you guys, and along with the fire departments, with the emergency management, well over a year you've been planning for that event. And I know that they threw you a bunch of curveballs at the end with the carts and everything else. There was a bunch of baloney that you tried to get them to do, and you guys stepped up, as a matter of fact, overnight, and got things delivered. And so kudos.
Yes.
You guys did a phenomenal job, the fire departments, public safety. No one could be any prouder of this organization, of the EMS, the fire departments, public safety, the community development. You guys just shined over and over again. And I know that the headaches that came along with all that, the heat and everything else, and you transitioned all the way through. So guys, thank you. Heartfelt thank you.
And you guys had electric bikes this year to ride around the course on rather than pedal bikes like you did at the last one. Right. Technology, huh? Right. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. Good department.
Take your plaque, too. You can take the plastic off and get a good shot of it. There you go.
And if I could have the chiefs of Unity Volunteer Fire Company, Holiday Park Fire Company, and Renton Volunteer Fire Company. If you come forward, please. And again, this open could not have happened without these individuals giving their time. And if you look at it, they volunteered their time. This is a proclamation honoring the 3 fire departments, Unity, Holiday Park, and Renton. Whereas the 125th U.S. Open welcomed over 205,000 spectators and participants from across the nation to witness a world-class competition requiring extensive public safety measures and emergency preparedness. And whereas the Plum Boro volunteer fire departments answered the call with unwavering dedication, providing critical fire protection, emergency readiness, and on-site response with professionalism and pride. And whereas these brave and selfless volunteers work tirelessly behind the scenes, monitoring for hazards, supporting incident command, and standing ready to act at a moment's notice, sacrificing their personal time for the safety of others. And whereas their service during the international event reflects not only technical expertise, but also the heart of community-driven volunteerism that defines Plum Boro. Now therefore be it resolved that we extend heartfelt gratitude and recognition to the members of the Plum Volunteer Fire Departments for their essential role in ensuring the safety and success of the 125th U.S. Open, and that their courage, commitment, and camaraderie are emblematic of the finest traditions in fire service and public stewardship. Signed this 14th day of July.
Again,
Ladies,
guys,
gentlemen, thank you.
you know, the week of the Open was the limelight, but I don't think that there's much thought put into how much time and effort that you all, again, put into it to prepare for that, at least a year before.
Yes.
So we're going back to 2024, that everyone in here has put time in, put effort in to make that 1 week a seamless operation, a very safe operation, and just phenomenal. Thank you all for your time, seriously, thank you.
Chief Sims? Unity, that's, wait a minute. Make sure I got them right. No, this is Unity. Thank you, guys. Thanks, guys. And by the way, I keep saying that when the time comes for, I ask for donations, please, please, make a donation, $50, $100, whatever you can afford, but that's really a nominal amount I'm asking for. Your taxes will go up exponentially if we have to have a paid fire department here. With that last statement, I'm finished, sir.
Okay, before we go any further, Mike, Jerry wants to get a picture with you with the life start.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Get the other ones. Thanks, Chief.
Okay, we're gonna go to civic announcements.
Good evening, I'm Pam Kalfa from the Plum Library. Nice to see you all. I just want to share that this June at the library was the busiest month I've experienced, and I've been there almost 5 years. And statistics-wise, it may be the busiest month we ever had. So thank you to everyone who's come out, and if July's any indication, we're still going strong. We made 93 new library cards in the month of June, and this is over 30% higher than we did last June. On average, we make about 50 a month. 50 is a very good month. We made 93 new cards this month alone. We had 786 people use their library card in the month of June alone to check out items at the library. And while we serve people from all of our surrounding communities, and we're happy to do so, 83% of these people were Plum residents who used their library card in our facility in the month of June. We had 125 people attend our summer reading kickoff party with a magician, and over 1,900 people in the month of June attended free programs at the library. All of our programs are free and open to the public, and we're very proud of that. And then lastly, we had 5,794 items physically checked out at our library, so that doesn't count anything that was done electronically. So I just want to publicly thank the staff of the library for all their hard work. Every day we walk out of there and we all have been sleeping very well at night, and thank you for the community for coming out. Our summer reading program continues until the end of July 31st. We have a children's band coming out that night, but we have programs all year long, so thank you.
Any other civic announcements? Okay, we're going to move on. We have Meyer Dussel here tonight, and they're going to give the yearly audit report presentation.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for having me. I'm James Contrell with Meyer Dussel. I'm a manager for the borough's audit. I've been involved for the past few years. We did meet with the Finance Committee a few weeks ago to go over the details more in depth of the financial statements and the reports that are going to be issued. So I'm just going to go over some brief highlights of the audit process. So to go along with the audit, we issue a DCD report and a legal advertisement summary that's issued in March. Now are your GASB financial statements, communication letter, along with the real estate tax collector financial statements as well. So to go along with the audit, our responsibility is really just to express an opinion about whether the financial statements are fairly presented in conformity with accounting principles. To go along with this, we do plan and perform to obtain reasonable but not absolute assurance. That just means we're not testing 100% of transactions that are entered into by the borough throughout the year. We're just testing on a sampling basis. Additionally, we do consider internal control, but we don't provide any opinion on internal control. To go along with that testing, if there were any issues or anything we needed to bring to your attention, we would do so in this letter. However, there was nothing that we saw throughout our audit process that kind of raised any concerns. All the policies and procedures that are in place are adequate. We didn't notice anything that was kind of outside the normal course of business with those policies. Significant accounting policies are in the financial statements in Note 2. There were 2 new adopted accounting standards this year. Thankfully, there was no significant impact on the borough financial statements, so everything you see in the financial statements is consistent with reports that you've read in the past. Accounting estimates are, a significant part of the financial statements, and there are 2 that are significant for the borough. Both relate to your pension and your OPEB. That's just to point out that, those are kind of third-party actuarial assumptions that do impact the financial statements. Those are notes 8 and 10, so whenever you do have a chance to read through those, just want to point those out for your reference. We do take a look at the methods, assumptions, and data to develop those estimates, and we do think they're reasonable for the borough. Additionally, there are sensitive disclosures that go along with the financial statements. It's those 2 noted for the pension and the OPEB, along with the borough's guarantee of the municipal authority debt. Nothing really I wanted to point out here, just that those are, more sensitive than others. All the disclosures are neutral, consistent, and clear. We are happy to report that we had no difficulties in performing our audit. All questions we had were answered, and we received excellent help from everyone in the office, so we certainly appreciate that. We did receive management representations for the DCD report. Once these are going final, we will get management representations for the financial statements, just essentially reiterating that everything we asked for was received and everything that moved along well. Throughout the year, we do talk with Mike and other people at the borough, just through the normal course of business. These items are not retention or condition of our attention. That's just a normal course of business item. And then for the financial statements themselves, as I mentioned, we did go over those in detail with the Finance Committee, so I wasn't going to go into too much depth here. Just some highlights. The opinion is unmodified and adverse. That adverse portion is just a carve out of not including the municipal authority in the financial statements. That's not something that's unusual, so there's nothing to be concerned there. The unmodified portion is really the highlight. It's a clean audit report. It's what you want to see as a council. It just means that everything that you're seeing throughout the year lines up with accounting standards and everything is reported correctly. Throughout the audit, we didn't have any significant adjustments to the numbers, so what you are seeing at your monthly meeting is what is really happening at the end of the year, so that's also positive. The only other really thing I wanted to highlight was general fund. Revenues exceeded expenditures, so that's always positive. And then if you're going to look at that from actual results to budget, in both instances they were positive. Your general fund revenues were higher than budget for fiscal year 2024. Similarly, your expenses came in under budget. So that's really just the highlights I wanted to point out. Unless there's any questions, I'll turn it back over to you to keep moving.
Does anybody up here have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, moves us to citizens' comments on any agenda item. No one? Okay, we'll move into council actions. First up, Mr. Majornik on behalf of Planning, Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt resolution number 1040-25 approving the SWIC lot line revision FSC-03-25 as recommended by the borough engineer.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Majornik. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second by Mr. Schlock. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt resolution number 1041-25 approving the SRK and American Dream Home lot line revision FSC-04-25 as recommended by the borough engineer.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Majornik. Do I have a second? Second it. I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt resolution number 1042-25 approving the Tresco Plan number 3 FSC-05-25 as recommended by the borough engineer.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Majornik. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Planning and Economic Development Committee, I move to adopt resolution number 1043-25 denying the transfer of the liquor license to Instant Shop Incorporated for property located at 7615 Salzburg Road.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Majornik. Do I have a second? I'll second. I have a second by Ms. Rossler. Any discussion? And I do believe that we're going to take a roll call vote on this.
Right, so the question on the table, and let's just change it a little bit. The motion is, even though you said denying, Dave, so
Yeah.
your vote is, if you say yes, you are approving the transfer. If you say no, you're denying it.
And
Is that clear enough? Or
I think maybe simplify it even more, if everyone could just say approve or deny, meaning if you say approve, that means you want to approve the liquor license. If you say deny, that means you want to deny the liquor license. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay,
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Councilman Taylor.
Approve.
Councilman Seitz is absent. Councilman Schlock.
Deny.
Councilwoman Rossler. Councilman Purcell.
Approve.
Councilman Majornik.
Deny.
Council President Dern.
Deny.
So we have, Mr. Solicitor, we have a 3-3 tie.
I guess we would have to ask the mayor to break the tie at this point.
Deny.
Okay, so that's a vote for denying resolution. Well, the resolution will show that the application for the liquor license transfer was denied.
Okay. Mr. Seitz is not here on behalf of personnel. Ms. Rossler, do you have his motions?
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Gary Motor to a 3-year term as an alternate on the Zoning Hearing Board. The term for this appointment will end on December 31st, 2027.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Ms. Rossler. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Personnel and Management Committee, I move to approve a new employment agreement for Jason Mugley, Director of IT, as recommended by the Personnel Committee of Council.
Motion on the floor presented by Ms. Rossler. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of Personnel and Management Committee, I move to accept the resignation of Police Patrol Officer Luke Skelder, effective June 15th, 2025.
I have a motion on the floor presented by Ms. Rossler. Do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint Carrie Del Russo and Jim Drano as the legislative liaisons to the PA Municipal League.
Motion on the floor presented by Ms. Rossler. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Schlock. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of Personnel and Management Committee, I move to appoint the advertisement for a Department of Public Works laborer.
Motion on the floor presented by Ms. Rossler. And do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Majernik. Do I have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of Personnel and Management Committee, I move to approve a memorandum of agreement with Teamsters Local 205.
Motion on the floor by Ms. Rossler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. That concludes the personnel management, and we're going to stick with you and do the Public Safety Committee, please.
Thank you. On behalf of the Public Safety Committee, I move to approve a memorandum of understanding with the Allegheny County District Attorney related to all requests for audio and video recordings.
Motion on the floor presented by Ms. Rossler. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Public Safety Committee, I move to authorize the submission of written notice to Plate Smart Technologies terminating the borough's existing software license subscription agreement.
Motion on the floor by Ms. Rossler. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Public Safety Committee, I move to approve payment in the amount of $7,356.34 for preventative maintenance for the volunteer fire department vehicles.
Motion on the floor presented by Ms. Rossler. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
On behalf of the Public Safety Committee, I move to approve payment in the amount of $26,395.26 for vehicle repairs to volunteer fire department vehicles.
Motion on the floor presented by Ms. Rossler. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Purcell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
On behalf of the Public Safety Committee, I'm making that motion to authorize the advertisement of an ordinance to amend the civil service regulations.
Motion on the floor presented by Ms. Rossler. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. That concludes public safety. Mr. Taylor, we have nothing tonight for Parks and Recreation. Mr. Schlock, nothing on the agenda for finance. And it moves us to Mr. Purcell, behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grants.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve a 3-year snow and ice agreement with Allegheny County.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Ms. Rossler. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to award the O-Block Pond project to 3D Murrin Construction in the amount of $710,955.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to authorize the advertisement of an ordinance accepting the dedication of Parkside Phase 2.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Schlock. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to award the Meadow Hill Village project to Grit Industries in the amount of $84,500.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Ms. Rossler. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve change order number 1 for the Barnes Road Slide Repair Project in the amount of $79,785.37 as recommended by the Borough Engineer.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Mr. Majernik. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve change order number 3 for the Plum Boro portion of the Avers Creek Culvert Replacement Project in the amount of $23,325.45 as recommended by the Borough Engineer.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by Ms. Rossler. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve change order number 4 for the Plum Boro portion of the Avers Creek Culvert Replacement Project in the amount of $64,010.55 as recommended by the Borough Engineer.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve change order number 5 for the PBMA portion of the Avers Creek Culvert Replacement Project in the amount of $99,664.50 as recommended by the Borough Engineer.
Motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Rossler. Any discussion?
I thought this was 64,000.
So the previous one was 64,000, so this is the PBMA portion, the municipal authorities portion? Yeah.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries.
On behalf of the Roads, Equipment, and Grounds Committee, I move to approve the purchase of Public Works leaf vacuum truck from CoStar's vendor Stevenson Equipment in the amount of $140,438.38 80% of this purchase is being funded by a recycling development and implementation grant.
I think the amount was 140,483.
I'm sorry, I have 140,483, 38 cents.
Yep. Okay, I have a motion on the floor presented by Mr. Purcell. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Rossler. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. And just a word, these things are all discussed a lot in depth at the work session. And so, you know, these, we just don't move through these without any discussion. I know sometimes there's a lingering question. That's why we always ask for discussion in the actual vote. But all these things are discussed at the work session, just to let everybody know. So that brings us back to the mayor. Mayor's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, while across other areas, people complain about the police, and I won't get into that, but I'll give you a good piece of good news about ours. I received an email on June 30th from Mr. Brian Cregan. And Mr. Cregan lives on Old Leechburg Road. The message says, "Good morning, Mr. Schlegel. Last night, Sunday, June 29th, the Plum police units that showed up to the house fire in Greendale Village was heroic. Noticing the black smoke from the house fire, I ran from my house up to the house that was on fire. 911 was called by the owner and neighbors, and within minutes, multiple Plum police units showed up at the residence. I witnessed firsthand the bravery and knowledge the officers showed on the scene, including after assessing the situation and then rushing into the residence with fire extinguishers. They kept the situation under control until the fire department showed up and most likely prevented further damage and or loss to the surrounding area homes. I applaud both the borough and the officers for their effort. Please congratulate them for going above and beyond and thank them for the nearby residents for their bravery and knowledge." Now, I had forwarded this to the chief, and he had forwarded it to all the officers in the department. Last month, we had 791 calls for service. And my favorite toy, the ATS radar display sign, has been deployed several times. One at 332 Aberdeen Drive from June 6th through June 24th. 15,366 vehicles were timed over that 18-day period. And again, I point out that that's only one direction. The highest speed, let me find it here. Well, I don't have it on this one. The average volume per day was 852 vehicles. Actually, the highest recorded speed was 43 miles per hour. We're in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. The sign was deployed at 1532 O Block from June 18th through June 24th. 4,425 vehicles passed that sign over a 7-day period. The highest speed recorded, this idiot decided to do 53 mile per hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. The ATS radar sign was deployed at 3234 Leechburg Road from June 18th to June 24th. 6,819 vehicles were timed over that 7-day period. 25-mile-an-hour zone. This, I can't call him an ass, but this idiot, 97 mile per hour. 97. The average volume was 974 vehicles per day. Again, it was deployed at 324 Coxcomb Hill from June 4th through June 24th. And that includes the open. 74,669 vehicles over that 21-day period. And Here's another one. This person decided to do 89 miles per hour going on that road. I just don't get that. And there's pictures and the chief's report of our officers. And finally, thoughtful citizens. I don't know about other communities, but this community really stands up for both our police as well as everyone else. On June 7th, Ann Schrott of Holiday Park delivered 2 trays of cupcakes from her own business, Ann's Gourmet Cupcakes, on behalf of the Urban Impact Organization. On June 21st, Joe Fischetti of Gamma Sports delivered sandwiches and various dessert items to the police department for our officers in appreciation of their continued service to the community. And on June 27th, on-duty officers were invited to stop at the Plum Creek Presbyterian Church for lunch during their annual rummage sale in appreciation for their continued service to the community. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you very kindly. Okay, Intergovernmental Cooperative Committee with the school district. Since it's summer, we really don't have anything. We'll probably get back into that once school starts in the fall. Mr. Seitz is not here, but the Personnel Committee does not have a report tonight, and that moves us to Mr. Schlock with the Finance Committee.
Thanks, Mr. President. General fund highlights for the month of June 2025. The borough recognized revenues totaling $785,598 and incurred expenditures in the amount of $1,453,155. Revenues. To date, we have received $2.46 million under current year earned income tax revenues, and this represents 52% of the adopted budget. During the month of June, the borough received $70,464 under regional asset district funding, and we are currently at 52% of the budget. Under sanitation revenues for the year, we have received approximately $2.1 million, and this amount represents 86% of the budget. Many residents have taken advantage of the discount by paying the entire calendar year in advance. Overall, revenues through June are approximately $852,000 higher than 2024. Expenditures. Through the month of June, the borough has expended 48% of the budget, or $7.98 million. Projecting through the end of the year, we are not anticipating any material departmental budget overruns and should experience expenditures that are below budget. During June, the Finance Committee met with staff and reviewed the status of the 2025 budget. The auditors also presented an overview of the 2024 draft independent audit report. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Schlock. Mr. Purcell, Roads and Equipment.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. Highlight report for roads, equipment, and grounds. Inlet repairs were completed on Malice Road, Pine Street, Leechburg Road, and Sardis Road. 1,200 feet of pipe and 6 new inlets were installed on Drennan Road to address water runoff issues. There was a total of 65 tons of asphalt that were used for infrastructure repairs, costing $5,088.48. There was a total of 53 tons of asphalt that were used for road repairs, costing $4,321. Crews cleaned and jetted pipes for MS4 compliance using the vac truck. Inlet inspections for the 2025 MS4 report were conducted, and the flail mower right-of-way mowing was ongoing throughout the month. That is conclusion of roads, equipment, and grounds.
Thank you, Mr. Purcell. Ms. Rossler, Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do not have a report, but I do have Brian Maloney here, who's a Director of Operations from EMS. There he is. And I also have 2 fire chiefs and a president here. So if they'd like to come up and speak afterwards, that would be great. Thank you.
All right, not a problem. Brian Maloney, Director of Operations, Plum EMS, and as always, I appreciate the opportunity to be up here this evening. June was a busy month. Now, maybe one of the largest sporting events in the country, multi-day events had a factor in that, but we ended up responding to 342 responses and transported a record 222 patients during the month of June. Now, 20 of those patients were from the U.S. Open, but with 202 transports, that's the second highest Plum EMS has ever had for just normal operations. We ended up responding to other communities 16 times, with 10 of those resulting in transports to the hospital as well. And throughout the month, we actually needed mutual aid into our community 26 times. Once again, that's because we depleted our resources in a sense during the U.S. Open. But we had already agreements with all our neighboring communities understanding we were going to need help that week. And it all worked out perfect. And so we still handled 92.6% of the EMS that was needed in this community just in-house. So I'm very proud of the crews for all their hard work and efforts. Now, along with running emergency calls in the community, we had the opportunity to be at the Summerfest for each night, had a great time, pulled out some splinters, nosebleeds, but luckily nothing serious. So we really enjoyed our time up there. Now, speaking of the U.S. Open, first, we appreciate your recognition. There was a lot that went into it. It was unbelievable. I consider myself a high energy, ready to take on the world, and I met my match. It was a lot. But I'll tell you what an incredible experience, and it was mainly working with such great people. But with the U.S. Open, it was more than just Plum EMS. We recruited so many EMS professionals from Allegheny and Westmoreland counties to help make this happen. We had over 2,100 hours of EMS staffing throughout the week, which was unbelievable. We had 4 bike response medics, and yes, they were e-bikes. And it was so neat to watch on camera these medics just like sitting there lollygagging up what we call now the cardiac hill. And it was amazing to see. We had 4 ALS CART teams consisting of medic and an EMT. We had 2 transporting units, both had an EMT and a medic. There was EMS command and leadership there, starting at 5 o'clock in the morning and like going until the last people were leaving. It was unbelievable that everything that went into it. Alone, we had 193 911 responses to this, the course during the week. And we ended up totaling, transported 22 patients out of that. 2 of them were transported by a mutual aid agency because we literally were running out of trucks. And in total, there were 4 first aid stations set up. So between the EMS contacts with patients and all the first aid station contacts, 2,966 people received some type of service from those first aid stations and EMS. And I know this is going to be recognized next month, but we did also have 1 successful resuscitation of someone who went in sudden cardiac arrest. It was the kind of thing that you plan for worst case scenarios, and it all worked perfectly. From law enforcement doing CPR to EMS being on scene in less than 2 minutes, to fire department being there in less than 2 minutes. I mean, it was amazing to see this all come into play. So I can't give enough credit to everybody who participated in this. And even on one of the days, Thursday, when it was like high 80s, low 90s with a heat index of the mid 90s, people were dropping like flies. It was unbelievable. We literally had every cart that we had just picking up folks. Fire department was helping us out like tremendously. I mean, it was the first aid stations. The one doctor told me it looked like an episode of MASH. I mean, people were literally like up against the walls, on the floors. I mean, it was to the point where I almost hit the MCI button to say, we need more help to get in. But one of the dispatchers from 911 complimented all the hard work and effort, and they said there wasn't one time anybody ever waited for help. That we had it there on that golf course, and it was amazing to see. So once again, I cannot give enough contribution to everybody who was out there and all that they did. So questions, comments, little story to make me smile? I like it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I am President McElrath with Unity Fire Department. I first want to start by saying that this month, Unity Fire Department is celebrating 100 years of service. So I want to say thank you to all the past and present members, as well as the entire community council and all the support we get from everybody. But on behalf of the fire department, I want to take this moment to express our deepest gratitude to everybody that helped make the fire protection and QRS response service at the U.S. Open not only possible, but a tremendous success. This was no ordinary event. It was a massive undertaking that required an unprecedented level of coordination, trust, and teamwork. It was everybody's commitment and their willingness to work as a cohesive team that made it all happen. First, I'd like to thank Plum Boro Council and Plum Emergency Management Agency. Thank you for your leadership, guidance, and logistical support from the very beginning. You gave us the framework to operate safely and efficiently, and your trust in our department did not go unnoticed. To Allegheny Health Network, thank you for ensuring medical readiness and for providing the clinical support behind every patient contact and emergency response. Your partnership elevated our QRS services and provided critical care to those in need. To Plum EMS, you are our frontline allies. Whether it was a routine standby or an urgent transport, your professionalism and rapid response were second to none. We couldn't have asked for a better partner on the medical side. To our mutual aid fire departments, we had Monroeville Company Number 4, Penn Hills Station 223, firefighters from Greensburg Fire Departments, Oakmont Station 216, Holiday Park Station 236, Renton Station 234, Allegheny County Fire Academy, and Allegheny County Emergency Services. We are humbled and honored to have worked beside each and every one of you. The way you seamlessly integrated into our operations, standing shoulder to shoulder with our team, covering our first due area, responding to calls, and ensuring seamless protection for the community. In the fire service, we often talk about brotherhood and mutual aid. At the U.S. Open, we lived it. The success of this operation wasn't about one department, it was about all of us coming together under one mission, to protect lives and property and to serve with honor. You gave your time, your manpower, your equipment, and your expertise. You showed up when it counted, and because of that, tens of thousands of spectators, staff, and players were able to safely enjoy one of golf's greatest events. We often don't get the chance to stop and say it, so let me say it plain and simple. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I want to second that, and I know that we're taking a lot of time here thanking everybody in Plum, but you're 100% correct, and Brian too. This happened also because of our neighbors in the surrounding communities by providing backup, by providing services while they were all out doing that. So yeah, kudos to all our neighboring communities too. You deserve a round of applause too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Jim Sims, Chief of Holiday Park Fire Department, Emergency Management Coordinator for the borough. Really, Brian and Morgan really touched base and really covered the U.S. Open. I had the pleasure and the honor to serve as the subcommittee chairman for the Fire and Emergency Management Group, and PJ and Greg Fusco, my Assistant Emergency Management Coordinator, we worked hand in hand. I was always invited to Brian's meetings, and as you said, Paul, we were meeting last year at this time, starting this, and then becoming in August, it was every single month. And as we got closer, it was twice a month, 3 times a month, course tours, visits with the command staff and the chief staff. It took a lot of work, and the USGA expressed to me, this is unique for them because they've come to Plum. There's so many people involved because it's a volunteer forever service. It's not a paid fire department that's handling that area. It's not one large city police department that's handling that area. So they were so impressed with how we worked with multiple agencies to have a successful event. And that was said to me more than once. And truthfully, Brian, I have to tell you, I think you really downplayed Thursday because that was a son of a gun. This was my 5th U.S. Open. And 1983 was my first one. I've worked 5 of them now here. And I'll be back in 33. But that Thursday, in 28, yeah, and then the Walker Cup in 32, I believe. But that Thursday was probably the worst day of any of the Opens I've ever worked. We were just constant, nonstop, every single day. I was out responding to patients, taking care of patients. And for a while there, it seemed like every time they gave a call out, I was like right there. I'm going, can I get a break? But I finally came into the JOC, the Joint Operations Center, about 3:45, and Greg Fusco, my assistant, was out waiting in the parking lot. He came in, he grabbed me, he says, get into the air conditioning. You look like heck. I said, that's probably why I feel like heck. You know, it was a really tough day that day. It was just that we're on the course. The emergency people were on the course at 5 a.m. and no one left until the last golfer was off the course. So a lot of times we were there, depending on rain delays or whatever. We were there every single day for 12, 14 hours a day until everybody was safe and through the course. It was a great event, and it was because of the hand-to-hand coordination between law enforcement, emergency medical services, the fire departments, and the coordination work with me that we had such a successful event. Talking about Holiday Park Fire Department real quick, a couple of things. As Brian mentioned, they had a busy month. We run QRS service when Plum Boro has a busy month. We also have a very busy month too. We ran 125 calls in the month of June. Many of those were quick response medical calls. So we had people assigned to the U.S. Open. Then we had people assigned to our station running calls. Then right after that, the following week, we went right at Summerfest. We staffed the firefighters challenge for the kids and fireworks, and then we went right into our summer camp in the month of June. I don't really remember June too much, but June, fire camp was great other than the heat. We had record heat this year. We had 34 cadets who were there every day. They were there at 8 a.m. They stayed till they were done. Nobody quit. All 34 graduated. All the kids did a great job, 14 to 17-year-olds. It was just a great time for them. Also, we have 57 volunteers. You talked about the man hours that Brian mentioned. We have 57 volunteers, mainly from our organization, that put in 1,869 man hours to pull fire camp off. Between instructors, cook staff, people being counselors, almost 1,900 hours of volunteer time to pull off fire camp. And I like to publicly thank the following people, and also the people who support us. UPMC is our main sponsor. Callaghan Landscaping, Tim's Transmission, the Dairy Queen, David Helfer's Jewelers, Schulteis Brothers. We had anonymous donors stop during fish fry and hand us money with cash, saying this is for your fire camp, and drove away. To this day, we don't know who he was. Russmore Floors, the CCAC Public Safety Institute, Lalula's Pizza, Mission Barbecue, Dee's Barbecue, Serve Pro of Monroeville, Renton VFD for supplying Gatorade and water, the Cook family supplying Gatorade and water, the Ciron family supplying Gatorade and water, Michael's Painting, we all know Michael, Michael's Painting for desserts in the morning, the Allegheny County Fire Academy for assisting some instructors, AHN for some medical equipment and also sending Lifelight, Monroeville for allowing us the use of their training center, the Sampson YMCA for allowing to use their indoor pool, Washington Township VFD, Westmoreland County providing instructors and equipment, West Wilmerdingle VFD for supplying equipment, and Wilkins Township supplying instructors and equipment. So it's really, our fire camp is more than Holiday Park VFD. It's a community event. That's, as you see, these are the people come in, they support us and they help us, and that's what makes our 8th year successful, and we'll be back next June. Last but not least, next Thursday, I can't believe I'm using this word, but it's Christmas in July. I can't believe I'm saying Christmas. It's Christmas in July. There are a few seats left. Actually, we have seats reserved out into the truck garage. Our fall super bingo is September 20th, and our gun bash is October 11th. All tickets are available. There are still tickets available for super bingo. We appreciate the borough support, and we appreciate the community support that allows us, Holiday Park VFD, to do the things that we do. Thank you.
And before you go on, I want to piggyback on something you said about the USGA, saying that this is a unique atmosphere. We were there for the opening ceremony, for the flag ceremony, and a gentleman from the USGA said that multiple times at other opens, they call Plum and talk to our people. Go ahead.
I think what he was saying in the past, the USGA planning people had reached out to Sam's department, community development, as far as what they've done in the past for permitting, and I'm sure it's the same for police EMS, that they value the professionalism of Plum Boro and their employees.
So, yeah.
just to piggyback it, we are unique, and I think the outside world knows that, but it's nice to see the background of everything that I don't think people realize what it takes to put an event on like that, the planning. Like, I just keep saying it. For the past year, you guys have just, you know, you, EMS, the police, the past year. And when you stop and think about that, a year to plan 1 week. So thank you. Thank you all for the time and effort you put in. It's appreciated. Okay, anything else? Okay, Mr. Majernik, Planning and Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. Dern. The Planning and Economic Development Committee report. The Planning Commission did not meet in June. The Zoning Hearing Board met in June for a special meeting and denied the Penteco injection well application for a use by special exception for the expansion of a non-conforming use and variance request on June 11th, 2025. Code enforcement. Completed 90 residential and apartment occupancy inspections. Addressed and inspected 32 violations, complaints, and answered Borough Connects for junk and debris, high grass and weeds, abandoned vehicles, vacant structures, rodents, occupancy violations. There were 5 violation letters sent. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Majernik. Mr. Taylor, Parks and Rec.
Thank you, Mr. President. Weekly inspections were completed at Plum Creek Park, Renton Park, and Logan's Ferry Park. No safety violations were found. Ongoing maintenance for the parks continued through the month of June. Larry Mills Park, weekly playground inspections at Larry Mills Park found no safety violations. A seesaw will be reinstalled once replacement parts arrive. Graffiti was removed from a playground slide. Ladies' room faucet was repaired. The bocce court was inspected weekly and rolled regularly. A fallen tree was removed near the upper soccer field fencing. Public Works supported Summerfest 6/19 through 6/21 by setting up tents, painting parking lines, grading the lot, installing fencing, managing parking, and removing garbage. Soccer fields were repaired after Summerfest for play readiness. Regular mowing and grass maintenance occurred throughout the month of June. The pavilion up there was rented 5 times in June for private events. As far as our borough haps go, our prior events, we had movie night June 6th, Summerfest June 19th through the 21st, which was well attended. The festival was praised for its organization and welcoming atmosphere. We had food trucks, carnival rides, and games. Fireworks show on Saturday did not disappoint and had spectators cheering. Upcoming events for the month of July. Monday Market starts June 2nd and runs through August 25th. New location is at Plum Creek Presbyterian Church. Movie night, June 11th, will be showing Wild Robot. Room rentals for the month of May 2025. We collected $5,953.74 from rentals in June. Other things in 2025, Pull for the House campaign. The campaign continues, and we encourage everyone to save those pull tabs for the Ronald McDonald House. We want to exceed our 2024 collection if possible. The Angel Fund donation, a big thank you to Plum Area Soccer for their generous donation of $2,000 to the Plum Angel Fund, along with an additional $165 from Salute Distributing. All proceeds from the sale of alcohol during Plum Summerfest were donated. And I also would like to thank everyone involved, our police, EMS, fire companies, volunteers, for making not only the week of the golf outing a special event, but also just for making our 29 square mile town that we live in a very special time annually, all year long. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. And that brings us to the engineer's report. First off, Mr. Prokopik.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll just touch on a few things. Past month, we handled a handful of reviews. I won't get into all those, but touch on a couple other things. Parkside Estates Phase 3, the Plum Boro Municipal Authority, along with Plum Boro and Marana Homes, we're installing a second water feed into the phase 3 of the development, which is a dead-end cul-de-sac. There is just the final connection on Salzburg Road to be completed, and that will provide additional water flow to that cul-de-sac. The Barnes Road slab repair project, they paved last week. The last thing they have to do is install the guide rails, and I anticipate that getting done this week, and the road will be open hopefully next week, weather dependent. And just to touch base on that change order real quick, it wasn't a change order for increase, but it was actually a design change based on field conditions, so we anticipate that project actually going to be coming in under budget. So next month, hopefully there's a price reduction, just to let everybody know about that.
We have that marked down already.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was a joke.
The 2025 Plum paving program, we met with the contractor this past week, and they are anticipating starting the first week of August. They're going to complete School Road and Center New Texas Road first, so there's no conflict with any of the school buses. The Hardy Park, the Abers Creek Hardy Park Phase 3 project is complete. The paving was completed during the month of June. Also, just to update, the Sardis Road paving is substantially completed with some sealing of the roadway and some minor restoration. Those are the main highlights.
Thank you. Mr. Housley?
Okay, just a quick update on the implementable comprehensive plan. We had our first meeting with the steering committee on June 25th with the consultant Pashik MTR. The consultant basically went over a quick guide and outline of how the program will work and how we'll represent that with the general Plum community. The committee members offered some thoughts on what they felt the key issues were in the borough. These are being coordinated into a community questionnaire. We're currently working, I believe they called us a subcommittee. There's 5 of us that are working on the format of the questionnaire with Pashik for our follow-up meeting at the end of July. And then that's going to be released. There'll be advertisements. We're talking things similar to political signs, like little flyers with QR codes, things like that, through the borough's social media on our website. Also some other formatting and advertising to make sure that that's put out in the public. Because of course, like we said before, the more public input we get, the more diverse public input we get, the better results we'll have from the comprehensive plan. So that's about it for tonight, unless you guys have any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Housley? Okay, that concludes our agenda for tonight. So we have one last thing, and that would be citizens' comments on any non-agenda item. Okay, with that, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. I have a motion by Ms. Rossler and a second by Mr. Majernik. All those in favor? Aye. We stand adjourned.